Well, if you're when you're thinking about someone attention seeking, yeah, you're sort of thinking of them in a negative light, ain't you? I mean, you're thinking about yourself, ain't you? Like they're winding you up. Why they're attention seeking? Why are they creating? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Whereas when you're when you're on road, you might be a bit more compassionate, yeah. But when you're in prison, like, well, again, like, well, actually, no, like when you're on road, you can have friends around you, you can have family around you, you can go out, you can do whatever. So you can have people there that feel for you in it and have an investment in you and want you to be better and want you to do well. Whereas in jail, nobody knows you. People don't want to know you when they consider you annoying. You know, they're you're fucking up our food time, you're fucking up our social time, you're fucking up our, you know, our exercise. That's what we're thinking when we're in there. It's yeah, and yeah, so they're getting very little compassion. But why they attention seeking is like it's a cry for help, isn't it? Really, it's a cry for help. You're trying to draw people to you, even if it's in a negative way. Yeah, you want people around you. You want people patting your back and treating you like a baby, so to speak. Yeah, you want that. It's a cry for help. Again, screws don't care either. Really, there'll be the odd ones that do that'll take their time out to chat to them and this and that. Not everyone does, and they're not trained. They're not trained to either. You know what I mean? It's not really their job. You know, and they're sort of they just want to go and work, open us up when we got to be opened up, bang us up when we got to bang us up, and go home. You know what I mean? They don't want to deal with a geezer that they're considering a troublemaker. You know what I mean? But it is a cry for help. But I'll give you a couple of instances of what I consider to have been attention seeking. There was one in Stockton, and in each set, like the cells, like on one side, the heating would be like a pipe that would just be linked up, going right along the cells. Yeah, hole in the wall, pipe going along it, heats up. It's a radiator. Yeah. If someone taps on it, you can hear it. It's like you can put your mouth to it and talk into it, and whoever you need to talk to on that side can put their ear to it, and you can have a conversation through it. It's echoey, isn't it? Imagine someone's tapping it all night. Yeah, this went on for time, every single night. Tap, 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 tap on the pipes. It weren't like what you could tell it was using an object, right? A bit of wood or whatever. You could tell it was. It weren't like an hand or anything, or a foot tapping on it accidentally. Every single night, tapping, constant. Imagine trying to sleep with that 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and it used to happen at random times, all night, every night, for months. Well, I'm saying months. It was probably days. Felt like months. It was weeks, definitely a couple of weeks. This was going on for. Nobody knew who was doing it. There's only so many people down the side, though, isn't it? This is a sea cat as well, yeah. So it's not a reminder where people are coming and going. It's the same bods along this side. So eventually, he got rattled down to some old geezer with a walking stick. It was him. Can't even remember how they found out, but it was him. And someone found out that night. Back in the day when we used to get social at night. Whew. Went in the shower, old man or not, they weighed him in. One person weighed him. I'm saying they. One person weighed him in. you know, you can't condone it in an old man, can you? Especially you can't condone weighing him in. But not too many people was upset or said anything about it, you know. And why was he doing it? It was attention seeking. Well, he really, he was attention seeking. Why are you doing that? Tap, 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 tap. You're in there. You want the people. You're trying to drive us all mad. I was on that side, and we was getting driven mad. If anyone's ever experienced tapping on a metal pipe, it's echoey, it bangs, and even if it's 20 cells down, if it's tapping with a bit of wood, walking stick, sounds like it's next to your head. 20 cells down, it don't matter. He got weighed in. It's attention seeking, though, isn't it? But what's his malfunction? What's gone wrong in his life that he has to attention seek by tapping and thinking it's funny that people calling out all night, saying, I'm going to do you in the morning, whoever you are. There's obviously something going wrong, isn't it? He can't handle being banged up behind the door. That's what it boils down to. He can't handle being on his own with his own thoughts. So he's acting out, he's tapping, tap, 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 tap. It's negative, isn't it? But he can't handle being on his own, so that's what he's doing to deal with it. There was another geezer. I think this was in Stockton. I don't know if I said the other one was in Stockton, but this was in Stockton as well. All the time, man. On the bell. One of them was on the bell. Screws wouldn't even go. They would just turn it off from the office, which is out of order. You know, if you're on the bell, it's an emergency to you, innit? Like, but you know, this is what we're all considering attention seeking at the time. Screws are thinking the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I said, they ain't trained social service, like social carers or doctors or psychiatrists. You know what I mean? They're screws, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so he'd be on his bell, screws turn off, he'd be going mad, banging on his door. This would be at lunchtime mainly, during the daytime, trying to relax, you know what I mean? And he'd be banging and kicking and screaming and on his bell, saying he's going to kill himself, and he probably tried a few times when the screw went to the door, and he'd get, you know, whatever they have to do, rush in, whatever. And he's one of them ones, he's always inconveniencing you, like, because you're not thinking about him, are you? He's acting out because he can't handle his own thoughts again. This is what people act out for in jail, because they can't handle it behind their door. Single cells in Stockton as well, right? So, on this wing anyway. So, lost my train of thought. Yeah, he was one of them ones. It would be a proper kick-off, yeah, and you'd be late for dinner, you'd miss your social, you'd do something, yeah. People hated him. He come out of social one day, 6 o'clock, unlocked for social. I've come out, probably got my shower kit under my arm, little net bag, and you hear him kicking off on the other spur, right? Him screaming. Gone over there. Screws are like on the stairs, but not near him. He's on the twos. They're sort of walking upstairs, sort of well away from him. People are looking up. He's on the twos. He's got a bed sheet tied around his neck to the banister. Yeah. He's got a thingy tied. He's got a bed sheet, green bed sheet tied to his neck, other than tied to the banister, saying he's going to jump over. And this just shows how heartless Joe is. People cheering him on, like the prisoners. Yeah, definitely the prisoners. Maybe the screws silently in their head. Maybe, allegedly. But yeah, people downstairs going jump, jump. Well, then, all people were caring about was they're going to get banged up in a minute because of him. And in reality, you know, if you're going to do it, you're not going to do it on the landing, are you? So, God, I look a little hunchback there, but yeah, standing there, I'm going to do it. Screws, don't do it. He did it. Chum. I'm standing there looking. I weren't cheering, by the way. I wasn't one of them ones cheering. But I was definitely heartless towards this geezer. Totally out of order. But all I'm thinking about is myself again. So exercise. I mean, dashing off the wing. You get off the wing on him in that jail. But he's jumped. As soon as the rope went tight, I say rope was sheet. As soon as it went tight, unravelled from the banister railings, and he just hit the deck, hit the ones, boom, like landing on his feet. Everyone's laughing. He fell 10 foot in reality. He's done. I'm sitting here thinking that he broke his legs. That might be just my own mind playing tricks on me, and that's why witness statements are totally unreliable. By the way, come on, memories change, mate. I've just said this geezer broke his legs or his ankles. That could be just be totally made up. But he hurt himself. Again, it's attention seeking, isn't it? I mean, even then, even though he jumps, I mean, he kind of really thought he was going to die. Wing full of people, all screws. It was a moment, wasn't it? It was like a Hollywood moment for him. But again, what's going wrong? Like, why can't he ride? What's going wrong in their head? Why can't they ride it? Like, be behind their door and be in peace, because that's what it is. It's their own head, isn't it? Start thinking about past and whatever. Some people have got shitty pasts, haven't they? Yeah, that's just two people that didn't really. They were definitely attention seekers. But they deserved to be treated better than what they did, and they acted out because they weren't treated how they should have been treated. And jail's not a place to be treated with any sort of compassion by anyone, staff or prisoners. I mean, if you're serious, you ain't going to tell no one, are you? I mean, I've said it before, I was a bio cleaner. One of the things I'd be cleaning up was suicides. Some old fella on the wing got a Dear John letter. Say it was old, he was late 50s, 60. Got a Dear John letter by his bird. I'm breaking up with you, blah, 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 blah. He didn't tell no one. Screws went to his cell in the morning, he was swinging. He'd been swinging for God knows how long, he was dead. I had to go in there and clean it. And, yeah. That was like a crime scene, like, because they're not just going to cut him down and then let us in there and clean it. It was all locked off for ages, he would cut down. There was all like equipment in there for where they were trying to save him in there. He'd wet himself, so it was all his bodily fluids everywhere. And that's the thing that really, that was the first thing that hit me, like when I walked into that cell to clean it, like when the padlock come off to let us in to clean it. It was the smell of him. But yeah, is a confession, man. This is a scummy confession. The biohazardous cleaners, me included, people that clean up suicide, they clean out any bodily fluid. If you walk into a cell, don't mean that. Don't even have to mean the person's dead. If there's been some sort of assault in this cell, or if you know the person ain't going back to that cell, then you're just going to clean that cell out and cut it up between the biohazards. I mean, this is prison, right? We ain't angels, yeah, and we're heartless. So there's usually two of you there cleaning. Sometimes, if it's a big one, there's always one outside the clean man. Usually the assessor, because I would be an assessor. Standing there pretending I was like doing tests, so I did have to go in there, testing the trainees. Go on, you go in there with all the shit and the decaying flesh. But yeah, if you knew they weren't going back to the cell, you cut up everything they had. Yeah, so burn, tobacco, noodles, toiletries. Especially if it had blood on it as well, yeah? If it had blood on it, you had to throw it. Oh, all this stuff had blood on it. So no one ever said a word to us in the 2-3 years I was doing it. Everyone did it. And this wasn't me that invented this, by the way. This went on before, and that cell there, that cell where the geezer committed suicide. Everything was carved up in his cell and split amongst the bio cleaners. It's just the way Dow is, man. It's heartless. Anyway, if you want to hear more, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.